Hello friends, welcome to my channel CBC Tutorials. In this video, I'll explain you the following questions of our miscellaneous exercise. So let's start. Now let's see the 10th question. Now they have given us the condition over here where we need to show that they have given us that A intersection B is equal to A intersection C. And we need to show over here that in this situation, B and C, it's not necessary that B and C will be equal over here. So let us take sets A and B. Now let us take A and B in such a way that we get some intersection for AB. That is, we'll take some element common in both the sets. Now let us take set B in such a way that there should be one present in B. Only then we'll get the intersection of A and B. Now let us take B to be 1 and 2. Now when we do A intersection B, what we get is 1. Because 1 is the common element present in both the sets. Now let us take the same A, and now we will take C in such a way that C should be different from B, but the intersection of C with A should be the same, that is, it should be 1. So let us take 1 in C and let us take some different elements different from set B. Now set B is having 2, so let us take some other element except for 2. For example, I have taken here 3 and 4. Now when you do A intersection C, what you get is the common element is 1. So with this you have got the condition that A intersection B of yours is equal to the intersection C. That is nothing but 1. And also your set B is not equal to C. So with this we can say that it is not compulsory that whenever this condition comes that your A intersection B is equal to A intersection C, it need not imply that your B also will be equal to C. So with this we have proved. So this question is like a trial and error method which you need to prove. Now in the 11th question you see they have given two sets A and B and they have given you the condition where A intersection X is equal to B intersection X and both of them are equal to phi or an empty set. So A intersection X and B intersection X is an empty set. Also they have given you that A union X and B union X are equal for some set X. Now we need to prove that A is equal to B. So for this, first we will take A union X. Okay, now we will perform two cases. Now first we will take A union X, and with this we are going to make some kind of equation taking A union X. Now suppose for this I can write A intersection A union X is equal to A. Now, how come this came? Now, whenever we do the intersection of a particular set with one of its unions, what we get is the set itself. Okay. Now, if I would have done X intersection A union X, then I would have got the answer as X. Now, let me show you with an example. Suppose I take set A to be 1 and 2 and set X to be 3, 4. Now, when I do A union X, what I get is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I have to do this A union X intersection A. So when I do intersection A is nothing but 1, 2. Now what are the common elements in both of them? They are nothing but 1 and 2. So the final answer will be 1 and 2, that is nothing but our set A itself. So that is set A itself. So whenever we do the intersection of a particular set with one of its unions with any other set, what we get is the same set itself of whose intersection we did. So that is what we got. Now like that we made an equation. Now with this equation we are going to solve. Now in place of A union X, I am going to write B union X because in the question they gave that A union X and B union X are equal. So in place of that I will write B union X, which will be equal to A. Now after this I will put the distributive property. That will become A intersection B, A intersection X, and in between the union symbol, which will be equal to A. So this is our distributive property which we have put. Now you see we have got here A intersection X. Now over here they have given in the question that A intersection X as well as B intersection X are equal to phi or an empty set. So in place of this I will write phi or an empty set. So A intersection B union phi or an empty set is equal to A. Now, whenever we do the union of a particular set with an empty set, what we get, the final answer, is that set itself. Because in one place you have a set with some kind of elements, and in the other side you have an empty set. So when you do the union, you get the set itself. So over here we will get A intersection B is equal to A. Now let us consider this to be our first equation. Okay. Now in the previous time we took A union X. Now this time we will take B union X, and we will perform a similar kind of procedure and get an equation. So this time also we will take B union X, and we will perform a very similar method to this one, and we will make an equation. But this time I will take B intersection B union X. Now this will be equal to what? Now, as I said in my previous one also, that whenever we do the intersection of a particular set with one of its union, what we get is the set itself of whose intersection we did. So this will be equal to set B. Now in place of B union X, I will put A union X, similar to the previous one. This is a very similar procedure. So in place of B union X, I'll put A union X, and that will be equal to B. Now we got this. Now after this, I'm going to apply the distributive method and get the next step. So this will become B intersection A and B intersection X, and in between will come our union, which will be equal to set B. Now after this, you can see we have got B intersection X, and B intersection X is nothing but phi or an empty set. So we are going to put that value. B intersection A union phi will be equal to B. Now in the previous one also I said that whenever we do the union of a particular set with an empty set, what we get is the set itself. So the final one will be B intersection A, which will be equal to set B. Now this is our second equation. Now if you see in both the equations, here also we have A intersection B, and here also we have B intersection A. Now B intersection A and A intersection B are the same. The order does not matter. Both of them are the same thing. And if you see, both of them are equal to set A and set B. So from this we can say, from equation 1 and equation 2, we can say that set A is equal to set B, because both the set A and set B are equal to the same thing. And that is the reason they are equal to each other, because both of them were equal to A intersection B. Here also they are equal to A intersection B. Okay, so which implies that A is equal to B. So hence we got what we need to prove. Now the 12th question, you see, they ask us to find the sets A, B and C such that they imply to these conditions. Now what are the conditions is that A intersection B, B intersection C and A intersection C are non-empty sets. That is, they should not be an empty set. They should contain at least one element or more than one element present in them. So first condition is they should imply to this one, that is, their intersections should have at least one element in that, and then the intersection of all the three sets together should be an empty set of phi. So these two conditions have to be fulfilled, and we need to find the sets A, B and C. So this question is a complete hidden trial method where you need to take random sets and you need to find take the conditions and you need to find the sets. So let me take some random sets and try if they imply to that condition or not. So first let me take set A to be equal to 1 and 2. Now I will take set B in such a way that it should have at least one element common with A, because in the question we have intersection, and whenever we have intersection we have to take some or the other element common in the sets. So let me take 2 to be common in both the sets, and let me take one extra element, that is 3. Now let me take set C in such a way that it will have at least one element common with B also and with A also. Now let me take 1, 2 and 3. So you can see it has common elements, that is 1 from A and 2 from 3 and 2 from B. So in this way I have taken the 3 sets. Okay. Now let me imply the condition and check if this is correct or not. So first I will find A intersection B. Now what is A intersection B? The common elements in A and B is 2. Okay. Then what is B intersection C? Common elements in B and C are 2 and 3. So our B intersection C is 2 and 3. Now what is A intersection C? Now the common elements in A and C are 1 and 2. So our A intersection C is 1 and 2. Now we got the intersections of the sets. Now let me check the second condition if it's true or not. So we have to do A intersection B intersection C. So first let me do A intersection B. That is nothing but 2. Now let me do whatever I got the set, the intersection of that set with C. So intersection of the set with set C, which contains 3 elements, 1, 2 and 3. Now if I do the intersection, we get one common element, that is 2. So here the final answer is coming as 2. But according to our condition, the final answer should come as 5 or an empty set. So this means that these sets are not correct. So this method is not correct. Now let me check some other sets. Now here we got 2 in common. So why not I remove this 2 from set C and once again check if I get the condition as true or false. So let me again take the same sets and exclude 2 from set C. Okay, let me exclude 2 from set C and take only 1 and 3. So this is a complete hit and trial question, that's why I am doing this way. Now let me take the same A intersection B. A intersection B is 2. Then B intersection C is 3. And A intersection C. A intersection C is 1. Okay. Now let me do our final condition, that is A intersection B whole intersection C. So what is our A intersection B? 2. Now what is our C? Now we have to do the intersection with set C. Set C, this time we took 1 and 3. We removed 2 because 2 was coming as an answer. So let's remove 2 and try. Now this time if you do the intersection, you have nothing common because on one side you have A intersection B that is containing only one element, 2. And on the other side you have your set C which contains 2 elements, that is 1 and 3. Now when you do the intersection, you have nothing common in that. So your final answer comes as 5. So these sets which we took in the second time, they are correct. So this question is this way, hit and trial method. So you have to take your random sets and you need to check whether the conditions are coming true or not. Okay, so the second time when we took the sets, we got the condition as true. So we can write that our final sets A, B and C are respectively 1, 2, 2 and 3 and 1 and 3. Okay, I hope you understood. Now in the 13th question, it says that in a survey of 600 students, 150 were found taking tea, 225 coffee and 100 were taking both tea and coffee. Now how many students were taking neither tea nor coffee? So first we'll list out the values. Now whenever you see the word survey, it means it represents the universal set. Now many people think that when they see the word survey, it means the union. But actually survey means universal set. So here this survey of 600 students represents universal set which contains 600 number. Okay, that is the total number of elements in your universal set is 600. Okay. Now whenever you have this word called a group or a committee, it means that it represents a union. But here you have the word survey. Now when you get the word survey, it means that is a universal set. So in a survey of 600 students, that is your number of elements of universal set is 600. 150 were found taking tea. So number of students who were taking tea will be 150. Okay, we'll jot down all the points. Then 225 were taking coffee. So let us represent that with capital C. Now the number of students who were taking coffee is 225. Then they say 100 were taking both tea and coffee. Now when you get this word both, it means your intersection. So number of students who were taking both tea and coffee, that is tea intersection coffee, will be equal to 100 because 100 students were taking both tea and coffee. Now how many students were taking neither tea nor coffee? Now let us do this sum with the help of our Venn diagram. So this is our Venn diagram. This rectangle represents our universal set, and let us write that this universal set is equal to 600. That is, this complete rectangle box represents number of students which are 600, Now we will take our two sets T and C. Okay, T and C. This is for coffee and this is for tea, sorry, and this is for coffee. So these two circles represent the tea and coffee students. Now let me shade the part according to the values given to you. Now first, whenever you have to shade the parts, first take the intersection. It becomes easy for us to then shade it. So first they have given to us that T intersection coffee is 100. So if you see the intersection of these two sets, where do you get this part is your intersection, right? This part is your intersection. So let's write there 100. Now let us write 100. So this part is equal to 100 because this is the intersection of both the sets and the intersection value is 100. So this contains 100 elements. Now how many elements are present in the whole T, that is set T? There are 150 elements. So it means that in this whole circle of T there are 150 elements. But we have already mentioned that this small part of T consists of 100 elements. So what will be the rest of the part of T, that is what will be this part of T? It will have 50 elements because 150 minus 100 is 50. So this part, okay, will have 50 elements because the rest of this part we marked it as 100, right? Because that was the intersection. Then we took number of elements of T, that is this whole circle represents the set T and that whole represents 150. Now since we already wrote that this small portion of T represents 100, so the rest portion will represent 50. So when we do take the whole circle of this T, we get 150. Now let us see how many are there in coffee. We have 225 in coffee. So this second circle, okay, along with this part represents the coffee. Now there are 225, but this small portion of coffee again, which is overlapping with the T, that represents 100. So let us subtract 100 from 225 and what we get is 125. So this region which you get, this region is 125. Okay, so when you take the whole second circle, what you get is 100 and 125 together, which makes 225. So that is the number of elements of coffee. So like that, how we make the Venn diagram. Now we need to check that how many students take neither tea nor coffee. Now if you see in this set, these two circles represent those students that take either tea or coffee, or some of them take both, that is the middle part. But they have asked how many students take neither tea or coffee. Now if you have to find that, which is the part which takes neither tea or coffee. Now if you see this part of students who are there, that is outside the circle, they will take neither tea nor coffee, right? Because these two circles represent those students who take either tea or coffee, and this whole rectangle represents the total number of students. But the outside part, that is after you subtract this rectangle and after you subtract these two circles from the rectangle, what you get is the leftover part, and those represents the students who take neither tea nor coffee. So we need to find that part basically. So for finding that part, what we have to do is number of elements of universal set, that is your whole 600, minus number of elements of tea union coffee. Now if you would ask me how come tea union coffee, now if you see these two sets represent together, taken together, represent the students who like either tea or coffee. So when you shade both of them circles, what you get together, these two circles make a union, and the union of tea and coffee. So what we took is tea union coffee. So basically we have to subtract this two sets which represents tea union coffee from the bigger rectangle, that is our universal set. So when we do that, 600 minus tea union coffee. Now what is tea union coffee? Tea union coffee, basically add all these three numbers and write the union. Now that is 50 plus 100 plus 125, which gives us 275. Okay, 200, yeah, so 275. So that is our T union C. So when T union C, basically both these circles taken together is T union C. So when I add all the three numbers, what I get is so 275. Now 600 minus 275 is 325. So 325 are basically the total number of students who take neither tea nor coffee. And this 325 is nothing but your number of elements of tea union coffee complement. Okay, so this is nothing but the tea union coffee's complement. right? So these are the number of students who take neither tea nor coffee. So in such kind of questions, usually you take the Venn diagram and then try to solve it. Now let's do the 14th question. Now it says that in a group of students, 100 students know Hindi, 50 know English, and 25 know both in the sense intersection of Hindi and English. Now each of the student here knows either Hindi or English, and they have asked us that how many students are there in the group. Now when they say group, I told you in the previous questions also, whenever they say group, it means a union. Whenever they give you the words like group or committee, it means union. And whenever they give you the words like survey, it means universal set. Okay, so first let's see the values given to us. Now there are 100 students who know Hindi. So first, right, number of students who know Hindi is 100. And there are 50 students who know English. So the number of students who know English is 50. Now there are 25 who know both in the sense intersection of Hindi and English. So number of students who know both Hindi and English is 25. They have asked us how many students are there in the group, and they have also given that each student knows either Hindi or English. So basically this is a very simple question and we need to find the union. Okay, that's all. We just need to find the union. So this is a very simple question and we have one formula of finding the union. We have to put that formula and we need to find. So the formula is that number of elements of the union is equal to number of elements of H plus number of elements of English minus number of elements of H intersection E. So this is your basic formula which I have explained in my previous videos also. If you know this formula, then this question becomes very easy to solve. So let's put the values and solve for our union. So our H union E, the number of elements will be equal to, that is 100 plus 50 minus intersection is 25. So when I do, what I get is 150 minus 25, 125. So number of elements of H union E is nothing but 125. So they have asked us how many students are there in the group. So we can say that there are 125 students in the group. So that's all with the 14th question. Now I hope you understood my video, and if you liked it, please press the like button. And yes, don't forget to subscribe my channel CBS Tutorials. Thank you for watching.